And now I'm going to move to step two. When you do get a call, or if you're going to skip trace and do an outbound call, you would want to click phone scripts. Now, we have default phone scripts in here for you from for sale by owner, pre foreclosure, rental, and vacant. But you also have the ability to customize and create your own phone scripts all the way down to how do you initiate this call saying, "Hi, my name is Chris Goff, calling about your property, blah, blah, blah. Can you tell me a little bit about it?" As they talk to you, you're going to fill in this information. Now, again, these are our default scripts, but you have the ability to use your own scripts. Maybe you have somebody that this is all they do. These are the questions you like to ask. You can create that here. If you're just getting started, this is what we recommend because these are the questions that I'm going to ask. Now, keep in mind, they're not bullet pointed questions. You do have to create a conversation. You can't say, "Ma'am, is the property vacant?" Okay. Does it need repairs? Okay. You need to turn it into a conversation. And I'm going to tell you, when you start the conversation out, can you tell me a little bit about the property? They may answer four or five of these questions already here, right?
Mhm.
So keep that in mind. I always say building a relationship with the owner is so important because if they don't trust you, they don't buy into you, then it doesn't matter what you say. They don't want to do business with you. Be yourself. Don't get too cocky. I've seen so many wholesalers, right? And sellers could get cocky too, Bo. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, what you gonna pay me? I don't know. I haven't seen the house. Could you tell me a little bit about that property? I'm gonna steer somebody that has that kind of that putting up a wall because I already know it's gonna be a dead end if I retaliate, right? It's not gonna be a deal. Okay. There are going to be times it's not a deal. I've heard a lot more no's than I've ever heard yeses, but it's the yeses that make you rich. Conversation notes, you need to schedule an appointment, appointment notes. Okay. You can print this as well. You can reset the form. A lot of things you could do here. To me, this is very important. Now, let's say, as an example, that you don't have their phone number. This is where you could run the skip trace right here. Now, we do have two different reports when you have a saved property. So one report's going to give up to three numbers, landline, three cells, and any emails found. Whereas the premium report's going to give you nearest relatives, a deceased indicator, previous addresses, things of that nature. So depending on, how detailed you want the information, some people might say, look, let me just try the first cell phone number. But if you can't ever get a hold of them, you may want to contact the nearest relative. Now, I've run both reports for you. This report is the most basic report. If I go and I say, hey, this cell phone number is a good number, I can set this as my primary contact, or maybe I could set them as well as my secondary and not the primary. It's going to affect everything above. Okay. So we're just trying to make it a little bit easier for you to carry these numbers back over. Now, from a premium report, you're going to get a lot more information. I know Sherry Bridges owns the property, but Donald Lander, you can see this little, it looks like rings, wedding rings here. Maybe you can't get a hold of Sherry. She won't return your call. We don't know where Sherry is. She's lost. We could now move maybe to a nearest relative. And I think that's super important because at the end of the day, we just need to talk to someone to see if they're interested in selling. So I could actually set this person as my secondary, Donald as my secondary contact. And now I can quickly access this information. Let's assume for a second, maybe you just want to email them. Maybe you couldn't get a hold of them. You can do that here. Maybe you want to upload an attachment. Maybe you have a special attachment here. I've uploaded a special report that I like to send people. You can find these special reports over in our business center. We have tons of things that you can use in marketing to help you. You could download them, you can change them, you can re upload them over here and make them yours. So we have all this information ready to go. You don't have to think of this. Well, what do I say, Chris? We already have a lot of stuff built for you. Or maybe if I talk to someone, they're like, I don't know, follow up with me in 30 days. So after I talk to them from the phone scripts, I can say, okay, great. I can move them to a marketing campaign and market that property in the future. Now, some people, this is probably a Chris Goff thing, is a print letter right here. Want to print a letter on the fly. It's because this is how I started off. right? So this was super important. I have so many different letters here that you can print on the fly. So if I go driving for dollars, I pull a property, try to call someone, can't get a hold of somebody. Maybe I just, you know what? I just want to do a one off letter on this property and get it mailed. You could do that right here. Now, super important when you complete step two, and if it looks like a potential lead, we have to move to step three. But before you move to step three, I want you to mark this step complete with this checkbox over to the right. That's going to tell me now if I leave this section, I go somewhere else and I come back to this property, I know that I have worked up to this particular step, which is step two. If the deal looks like a deal, we need to go look at it.